Good morning, everyone. I'm going to start us off with a land acknowledgement and then do a bit of a brief introduction. In the spirit of reconciliation, we acknowledge that we live, work, and play on the traditional territories of the Blackfoot Confederacy, Siksika, Kainai, Piikani, the Tsuut'ina, the Ayetka Nakota Nations, Chiniki, Bearspaw, Goodstoney, the Otipemisiwak Métis governments, Districts 5 and 6, and all people who make their homes in the Treaty 7 region of southern Alberta. About a 5-minute walk down the way from here is where the Bow and the Elbow rivers meet, and it is known as the Confluence. And it's a fitting name, as confluence can also speak to the coming together of different people, of different ideas, and of different cultures. And it's also the essential ingredients for innovation. So it's in the spirit of confluence that I'm pleased to welcome you here today, and thank you for joining us on the lands of Treaty 7 territory. Welcome in, everyone. My name is Jen Lucy. I am the CEO of Platform Calgary. Oh, that feels good. Thank you so much. Our mission is to strengthen Calgary's future in the global economy by building a thriving and prosperous tech ecosystem for generations to come. We accomplish this through events like this that convene our community in our purpose-built hub, by helping connect dots with our deep resource network of over 180 partner organizations, a growing membership of over 950 tech companies, through entrepreneurial programming and coaching that helps founders learn how to build, learn how to find customers, learn how to raise funds, and learn how to hire. Minister, we've assembled the leaders and supporters of the tech sector here today for this conversation. Our partners in economic development, the post-secondary institutions, our municipal, provincial funders and policymakers, VCs and angel investors, the community groups that are the connective tissue of the sector, the industry leaders that drive the economies of Western Canada, and most importantly, the innovators and builders that are the driving force of our tech sector. We're all here because this topic affects us all at the individual, organizational, and societal level. AI and the speed at which it is advancing is shifting us all to face some of the biggest challenges and yet also some of the biggest opportunities that likely we've ever seen. You said this yourself, this is a hinge moment, and we're seeing it daily for the entrepreneurs that come through our doors and are navigating this sea change. We have a super tight program. We're going to jump right into it. I am pleased to now both thank our sponsor for today and welcome Todd Coleman, CEO of eStructures, to the stage to formally welcome Minister Solomon.
Thank you, Jen. First off, my absolute honor, super excited to be here. I want to thank Jen and the Platform Calgary team for hosting this, but more importantly, congratulate Jen on the announcement yesterday of the permanency of her CEO. We're super excited to applaud from the sidelines, watch her on behalf of the 900 members. What an incredible audience. If you look around, 900 people driving the digital future, the data economy of Canada, not just limited to here in Alberta and Calgary. We're super excited about that. Things are changing. My name is Todd Coleman. I am the founder, president, and CEO of eStructure Data Centers. We are the largest Canadian, all-Canadian data center platform. We've been investing in Calgary for the last 8+ years. I'm not talking press releases. I'm talking about $1.5 billion in the ground, and I'm proud to say that the board just approved another $1 billion to go on the ground in 2026. And we're not going to stop there. Look, if you look out, things have changed around the Calgary market. Jen and I were talking earlier, and so was her team, around where we were 9 years ago to where we're at today, and they're going to continue to change. We're proudly about to welcome our third facility in the Calgary market in the Rocky View area. That'll come out of the ground for end of 26. I can honestly say phase 1, a significant deployment, is already pre-sold for what is the largest AI deployment to date. But due to this gentleman over here, we won't stop there, and it won't be limited to eStructure. You know, the person I'm about to announce, before he went into the public life, he was the person on the other end. He's probably the OG of commentators and influencers. If there was a politician sweating on the other end, it was probably his questions that caused them to think a little deeply. He is now not only the person asking the questions, he's the person listening and driving the answers and the solutions. So with that, as we look forward to where we're going to go next and make Canada, Alberta, and all of our provinces important not just to Canadians, but to the world, we have the right person leading the way. So with that, please give him a warm welcome, the Honourable Mr. Evan Solomon.
Todd, Jen, thank you. Awesome. Permanent CEO, that is awesome. Jen, I'd give her a hand. That's fantastic. First of all, it's super great to be here. The vibe here is unbelievable. If we could bottle this and just take it across the country, the energy, the enthusiasm, the innovation, the readiness, the willingness, the ruggedness, this is what we're going to do to build this country strong. So this is fantastic. I just kind of want every single leader to come into a platform. Look, this is the room that I'm most comfortable with. I started my life as an entrepreneur. For 10 years, we built a company, my partner and I. We sold it. It was great. Then I sort of got more formally into the journalism side. Being an entrepreneur is the hardest thing. And I'll talk a bit about that. You bet on an idea. You're trying to solve a problem. You're alone. People don't think you can do it. You find a partner. You got to get capital. You got to find customers. You're the janitor. You're the CEO. You get your best friend to lend you money. You got to fire your best friend. You're sweating at night at 2 a.m. Every single thing happens to you on this journey. And by the time you get here, you're already at a place like Platform. You're like, oh my God, I'm not alone. There are people like me. I'm in a tribe of crazy people that want to solve problems, that are betting on their own idea. And I'm going to just tell you, I have a speech that I never follow, and then we'll do this, but the world is full of what I call team no. No, you can't do it. Who are you? You're too young. Oh, you don't have any experience. Oh, you'll never raise money. You can't do that in Calgary. Oh, you can't get capital. Oh, the government not going to. No, no, no. No's cool. Easy. Everybody could say no. No's a popular thing because it gives you power. No, we can't give you money. No, you can't build. E-structure, you can't compete with the American. You can't put billion-dollar data centers here. No, you're Canadian. No. Team no's. And then you've got team yes. Team yes is, yeah, I think I can. Team yes has a bit of an FU vibe. Like, I actually still think I can do it. Team yes is a harder road, a lonelier road. The risks are higher. The failure rate is higher. But the rewards are bigger. This is a room of Team yes. And we are on a mission for Team yes to find answers. And the government, my job, is to facilitate Team yes. To get out of the way when we need to, and to give a boost when we have to. And that's the job right now at a moment in our time, and we're living in an absolute critical moment. A moment where we're lucky to have spaces like Platform, and Jen, what you're doing here, and I'll get to that. But let's just go up a bit. We are living through the biggest political realignment since the Second World War. Not just our parents and our grandparents, but our great-grandparents. It's the world that we have grown up in and thrived in and built in. And all of us have been quite safe in our generation. Many other generations paid a big price for that. But that political world is changing and being realigned. And it's happening at the same time as there's a technological realignment that's happening at a faster pace than we have ever seen. Faster than when I started the first digital magazine and internet magazine and TV and media company back in the 90s. I'm old. My kids are old. This political realignment and this technological realignment has poses real challenges to our sovereignty, to our values, to our communities, but it also presents opportunities. And we have to make a decision on Team Yes to be open to all the opportunities and candid about the concerns. Okay? We don't want to, there's going to be a whole bunch of people with pom-poms about AI. This is going to save the world. It's great. There's going to be a whole bunch of people with pitchforks. It's going to take our water, our jobs, our futures. Our job, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're in platform, is to find the middle, open to the opportunity, candid about the concerns, and chart a rugged path of entrepreneurship. And that's what we have to build together. And that is what this room is all about. And that's why we're here, a room of builders. When Mark Carney talks about building Canada strong, it literally is rooms like this. People taking risk on Canada. And we've got to bet on each other. And so my job is to launch a national AI strategy that is open to the massive opportunities, candid about the concerns, and builds a sovereign, strong Canada that has a couple of goals. One, keep our IP in Canada. We got to stop, right. We know this. We were just at SAIT, you know, we're in Waterloo, we're in SFU, doesn't matter. We plant the seeds here, we water the seeds, we grow the plants, and they come and harvest. And then we become branch plant nation, not headquarters nation. And if you're in here, there's lots of off-ramps where access to capital and other things will lead to that. And they're rational decisions. So we've got to stop that because we believe you can be here, grow here, stay here, have IP here, have your community here, keep your home here, keep your family here, and trade with the world. So our goal here is to protect our values and our ecosystem, reflect it through our values and what we believe as Canadians, and then project it around the world and be strong, tough, and confident. So that's our goal here. So there is no place that has this DNA more than Calgary, more than Alberta. And we're very, very glad to be here. By the way, I will just say I was in Banff for 2 days. We hosted the first Culture and Economics and AI Summit. Just so you know, people said, why did you spend 2 days with almost 300 organizations representing culture? So again, let's be clear. 600,000 people work in our cultural industries. $65 billion. And many of those organizations are using AI to manage their operations, their museums, to manage their spaces. On the operations side, AI is saving a lot of those organizations. They're concerned about copyright and IP and lots of other things, and we had candid conversations. But we have to make sure that we grow our pure play AI on the vertical axis, get the stack, our data centers all the way up, and I'm working with great partners here in Alberta, like my partner Nate Glubish, you have a phenomenal minister here, forward-thinking, innovative, sharing, doing fantastic stuff. I love working with him, and we're working really closely. Great companies all the way up the stack, from our research, commercialization, our infrastructure, like our data centers, like we've seen, all the way up to commercialization, and as we move on up to the foundation models, the applications, the small language models, all the way up the stack. We've got to make sure that's sovereign. And then the horizontal axis, where the applications, the companies that you're creating, are going to create value across the horizontal chain in government and agriculture and mining. And that's where you're going to, I got 3 minutes already. I'm on the page 1. God, I got to follow the script one of these days. Okay, let me go. Okay, we have 3 minutes. Okay, so I'll tell you about my strategy. And it's actually not mine, it's ours. What's the goal of this strategy? You're all entrepreneurs. Principle, strategy, tactics, okay? Principle, AI for all, Canadian AI, okay? We got to make sure that everybody benefits from this technology, not a bunch of tech bros. Everybody. North, south, east, west. This is not political. I know there's a lot of scar tissue when a politician from Ottawa comes to Alberta, right? We should be candid about that stuff. There's a lot of mistrust. There's a lot of real scar tissue. But we are in a moment where I don't give what flag you fly. I don't care, conservative, NDP, red, blue, green, I don't give a shit. We got to work together to build. This is an age of pragmatism. This is the age of the entrepreneur. There has never been a moment, given the tools we have, where entrepreneurs can take an idea and execute an idea. The distance between idea and execution has never been shorter. This is why platform is an example. We have to give birth to that. We have to make sure that we accelerate that. So our platform is AI for all, to make sure people in the north, south, east, west, whatever demographic, whatever country you're from, you come here, you should have access to the tools to succeed, build, and grow based on the merit of your idea. If your idea sucks, it's going to fail. Welcome to being an entrepreneur. If your idea is good, you're going to get rich. Welcome to the rewards for capital. That's okay. That's great. Fantastic. And we're going to make sure that there's some equity. We got to make sure that, you know, when you're walking down your streets, you want to see clean streets, right? You want safe streets. Like, there's normal things. I'm a dad. I want my kids to grow up in a place that's healthy, clean, and they have an opportunity to start a business. So AI for all, strategy, build, empower, protect. We're going to build the infrastructure. We're going to invest in it. We're going to champion our champions. We're going to provide entrepreneurs with the 3 C's and the 2 T's. We're going to accelerate access to capital, and we'll talk about that on the round table, right across this spectrum, and we're going to accelerate building. So you need capital, you need compute, you need customers. Government plays a role there on the demand side. You need talent. We got to get the talent. And you need trust. Currently, Canada adopts AI at the lowest rate in the OECD, 12% adoption rate. Why? A lot of people don't trust it. So we got to get the trust up, because we got to get the adoption diffusion so your tools can be bought and used. So build is one pillar. Empower, skills. We were at SAIT this morning. Why? Because the polytechnics and all those places, we need a skilled workforce. And future-proof, because there'll be movement. Your education is like your passport. It's going to help you. But your work life, your skills are like a visa. You're going to get a bunch of visas in your life. And you got to have access to new skills. So we got to invest in education, but also the visas that would reskill our workers. So there's going to be an empower, and there's going to be a protect. Protect our data, protect our privacy, protect our sovereignty with Canadian-built data centers, sovereign workloads. But sovereignty is not solitude. Most of you will sell to the United States. They are your biggest customer. We will make sure that we have access to not just that market, but many markets. So build, empower, protect, and under each pillar there will be action items. So that is the goal of our strategy. I know now Jen's ready for this. I will just say 2 other things, and then we'll do this, the fireside chat. I like to keep things candid. We're very pragmatic. We've got to move very quickly, but not recklessly. There are not easy answers to this. We're going to screw up sometimes, but we got to be a bit risk tolerant. The governance of my ministry is going to be modeled on the entrepreneur, which is a killer team, iterate ideas, admit when you're wrong, build on mistakes, get better. Okay? It is not going to be, we are the federal government. We have solved AI. Here's our plan. It's perfect. See you later. Get a grip. This is reality. This is changing every day. We need good input. We need to listen. We need access. We need the full team. So I will just say, I'll end with this. This strategy is important. I need to learn from entrepreneurs. This is the space. You are the builders. I legitimately say, when the Prime Minister says we are a nation of builders, we are a nation of entrepreneurs, we are a nation of risk takers, but we do that together. And we need to put aside some of the scar tissue in the past and talk candidly and honestly with each other. And because we are on a mission in a moment in time, and we need partnerships. Alberta and Ottawa, you saw the MOU, we are trying hard to make sure that we have a rebirth relationship across this country, so we do not isolate. So we listen, we work together, we support, we're pragmatic, and we get this country off team no. No, you can't. No, we'll never. No, we're too small. No, we're too divided. No, you can't do it. To team yes. Let's go. Pick up the pack. I'll help you lift it up. When you stumble, you lift me up when I stumble. And let's kick some ass. Okay, let's go.
Thank you.
I've been told not, I'm a politician for like 1 year, and they're like, please stop swearing.
Can you all hear me from this? Yes. I love that you went off script. Maybe I can pull you back
Yes.
into a few points. And love how you're setting the vision. We need a vision for AI that's focused on trust and team yes. So let's just start. This is a huge topic. You have a big job. If we can start with some of the broader strokes around some of the policies that are within the AI strategy and some of the outcomes. So just as a bit of background, you know, Calgary, we're the fastest growing city in North America for tech talent. When other markets are shrinking, we're killing it in investment and in economic impact. And, you know, in the past, you've talked about how Canada has the raw ingredients to be an AI leader, but often loses the final product to foreign markets. And we were literally just talking about this in our roundtable. But we're in this hinge moment. What is the structural fix that you think we could prioritize to ensure that our next AI unicorn stays headquartered right here in Canada? Calgary, ideally, Canada.
Actually, Jen makes a great point about Calgary. I mean, look around the room. This is a spectacular ecosystem. There are incubators and hubs around the country. You'd be hard pressed to find one this good anywhere. I mean, this is absolutely world class. You've got world class access to talent. By the way, in Edmonton too, at Amy Camlink, who I know very well. I mean, incredible work. I mean, Alberta is a leading province. One of our AI national institutes is there. We have 3 in the country. One in Toronto, Vector, Jeffrey Hinton, Nobel Prize winner. Joshua Benjo-Mila in Montreal, Turing Prize winner, which is the highest scientific prize in the world. And Rich Sutton, as you know, the other Turing Prize winner in Edmonton. So the Machine Learning Institute there. We will keep investing in those. Can we humble brag about Canada for a second? This morning, another 2 Canadian scientists just won the Turing Prize in quantum. Okay? So that's fantastic. And I'm gonna digress on our strategy for a second before I answer that on quantum, because quantum's also my responsibility. Let me just give you a little. We launched these things. We don't know what we're doing. We are leaders in quantum in Canada, like we are leaders in AI. We don't talk about this, but we are world leaders in AI research and frontier research, and leaders in quantum. The United States wants our quantum. DARPA, you all know, which invented the internet, their research agency, Advanced Research Agency, they decided 3 years ago they needed a fault-tolerant quantum computer because the United States knows that if they fall behind on quantum, they're worried about the security risk on cryptography, that when quantum computers come, they'll be able to break our security. And this is why most banks and most of your insurance companies, everyone's becoming quantum proof right now, because we don't know when a fault-tolerant quantum computer is going to happen. And so what did they do? They designed a brilliant little system. They said, we're going to have a 3-stage system called the Quantum Benchmark Initiative, which is any company in the world can enter. You get $1 million to enter if you qualify. Then the best diligence team in the world, the DARPA diligence team, is going to do deal. And then if you get to stage 2, you get $15 million. By the way, imagine you're a small company, you get to stage 2, you've already been validated, so you're raising money off that, right? Validated, stage 2. And then if you get to stage 3, you get $300 million. And then if you move your headquarters to Illinois or Texas or Maryland, you get another 300. So I get elected, and I'm like, wait, what's going on here? Stage 2 is just about to be announced. There's 11 companies in stage 2. 4 are Canadian. One of them, D-Wave, already sold to an American company based in Vancouver. The others are Photonic, Nordquantique, and Xanadu. So we launched a program in December called the Canadian Quantum Champions Program. I'm proud to say our stage 1 is worth more than their stage 1 and 2 combined. Our stage 2 will be more. All those companies are enrolled and are to keep. I don't mind if they're there, but I want their IP to stay here. So we now have our own quantum program to keep our IP here. So just to answer Jen's question, how are we keeping our IP and our companies here? We're doing it by those things because we are strategically being targeted. So we've got to counter it. So we are investing in our quantum. So there is a practical solution where, and by the way, we have other quantum companies that are in our program because we need to prevent losing the IP that we have grown here and making sure Canada is one of the leading quantum countries. And we will be. So that's great. So in the strategy, the access to capital, compute, and customers are policy levers we have. So you will see access to capital is one reason why we lose people to the United States. So incentives at the seed round, the Series A, and the mid-growth. So incentivizing VCs, and you'll see some more action on that. First of all, on commercializing our research. So we've already launched with Mila, $100 million, and Innovia, a VC, $100 million fund. We launched about a month and a half ago to invest in scientific research and the conversion to seed rounds for first rounds. Here in Alberta, PrairiesCan, a regional development agency that you have here, I'm also the minister for the Regional Development Agency in Ontario. So we do the similar thing. You have a program where there's a matching program of $250,000 that companies can get, the government gives half, and then they get a matching grant to invest in seed companies that are starting tech. So we're incentivizing access on that part of the spectrum. As you get up, we've reformed our SHRED. I'm sure many of you use SHRED credits. So when we became the new government, we heard SHRED sucks, it's hard, it's late, it's complicated, please reform it. So in the last budget, we've gone from 180 days to 90 days. We've got pre-approval rate up to $6 million. Okay, so, and we're expanding it. So we're listening to entrepreneurs and trying to take action. So you get access here to stay here in Canada. And then you will start seeing on the Series A and then into the mid-growth, the valley of death, the mid-growth where you really leave, access to capital. We also have the Canadian Public Compute Fund. So in July, I opened up a $300 million public compute fund. So we didn't know, we opened the aperture for 30 days. You can apply to get access to compute to innovate. We thought we'd get 300 applications. It was July for 30 days. We got like 3,500. We were way oversubscribed. The 300 million was torched in like 10 seconds. But what we do is we give 50%, we fund up to 50% of on the dollar. For every dollar you spend, we'll pay 50. But if you use Canadian compute, up to 67 cents. So it's actually a really, a way to drive that. We'll expand the compute access fund because people need access to compute, and it's got a dual purpose to help Canadian companies as well. Companies like Alberta, companies like Denver, really important companies, eStructure, really. So there's that. And so making sure that it's easier to keep the IP here. I will just say one last thing from an investment point of view. These are things that nobody talks about because I don't know why, but it matters to you if you're looking for investment. Our marginal effective tax rate in Canada, after our budget that just got passed, is lower than the United States even after the one big beautiful bill. Our marginal effective tax rate is 13 point, I think 2 or 6%. I gotta now think about it off the top of my head. Theirs is over 15. So if you're an investor, your marginal effective tax rate here, it's better to invest here than there. And finally, one last point, because we're trying to drive investment, not just our super productivity deduction also applies to using technology and Canadian tech, so driving Canadian tech. So you ask, what are we trying to do to keep businesses here, to drive investment here, to create new customers, which is why, again, I just signed a sovereign technology alliance with Germany and Norway and the EU to drive customers to places like the EU. I signed another MOU with the UAE. We took Canadian companies there because they're buying Canadian tech, and India. So all of this is about helping SMEs here stay and grow.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm holding my mic to try to.
No, I know we have, but the
I
truth
love
is
it.
there are real policy answers there.
No, fantastic, and we look forward to seeing those as they come out in the actual A strategy.
I would just say all those are already out.
Okay.
Most of those, yeah.
And fantastic incentives. Let's flip a little bit over to talk about government as customer. So last federal budget outlined some specific Government of Canada procurement targets for Canadian SMEs. Government could be lead customer for a lot of the companies that are here building solutions at platforms. So what's the message for the companies in the room here today that would be interested in working with the Government of Canada, and what are some of the things you're building behind the scenes to help facilitate that?
So Jen's asking a great question. So governments often be good on the supply side. Where do we invest? But we have a role to play on the demand side. Most of you would rather have a contract than a grant, right? A contract you can raise money on, you can multiplier effect, and a Canadian government contract is obviously a major validator, and you can, it has valuation advantages. So how do we accelerate the demand side procurement? First of all, procurement system has to be reformed. I'm happy to say we have a minister called the Government Transformation Minister, Joel Lightbound. I work very closely with him on a committee because we need to use Canadian AI companies to help find those efficiencies. And so that's why you've seen me already signing memorandum of understanding for strategically important Canadian companies. I signed one with Coveo, a big company. I signed one with Cohere, our large language model, and we'll be signing more. So these are examples of the government kind of stepping on the scale to show that we will be using Canadian companies. We have a Buy Canadian policy, and Shannon, where's Shannon? Shannon? She's one of our entrepreneurs that we had at the round table. But Shannon asked me a good question that I want to talk about. She said, I like that you have a Buy Canadian policy in procurement, but I don't want blowback in negotiations with the United States, and because most of my customers are in the US. And so I just want to be clear what our US strategy is, because it matters. Because most of you are going to sell to the United States, and I want to be clear. Sovereignty is not solitude. We are not building a digital moat. We are a trading nation, and we will trade with the United States. And we will continue to trade. 85% of our goods are protected right now. Like, let's just be clear what the Canadian advantage is in this tariff war that's going on around the world. We still have free trade with the United States, and 85% of the goods that we trade with the United States are still tariff-free under CUSMA. 15% auto, steel, aluminum, and some lumber are getting hit, mainly where I live, frankly, in Southern Ontario, okay? Because that's the auto industry and the steel industry. So we have a strategy on that dovetails to what Jen just asked. But I will say, Shannon's question is, are you going to have a Buy Canadian and they'll retaliate and then all of a sudden we're going to cut off our supplies? Answer, no. Our strategy is to make sure that we preserve as much of that 85% and go back to where we were. But it's a tough, let's be realistic. We don't know what is going to be on the Twitter machine in the morning. We're like you. We can only control what we control. And what we want to control is three things. One, take it easy. We don't respond to every tweet. When people, and I said this to the round table, when people say elbows up or elbows down, that's a meaningless thing to us. We're adults. Be grown up. We're negotiating with a partner that 85% of the goods that all of you make go to the our trade. We're pragmatic. This is not an elbow. This is not a game. This is not a posture. This is not a political platform. We're trying to be pragmatic. It's not elbows up or elbows down. It's let's get a deal for all of us so we can get along, so we can get our businesses going. And we're pragmatic about this. We're negotiating. And you know what? 85% of our goods so far in this crazy trade war have been protected. That's a good thing. So let's stop the slogans. Let's be that's the mission. So that's the first thing. So I thought, Shannon, I appreciate that. We're going to make sure that we build Canadian, but we have access to markets. So we're going to really make sure that that's protected because we know where our economy lives. Procurement matters. I will just say our dual-use defense strategy is a huge moment, and it merits 10 seconds.
Maybe my next question.
Oh, is that okay? Well, why don't you go for that?
No, just keep going. Yeah, we've only got a few minutes.
So we're going to hit our 2% this year in NATO, and then we're going to go up to 5%. We're going to invest $80 billion in our national security. Right? That's a big deal. We're going to pay our men and women. I've been in the field with the men and women. I should just say, I don't know if any of you have served here. I've been many times in the field with the men and women in uniform when I was a journalist overseas. Been in the Persian Gulf, literally with the Navy on the Charlottetown during the first war in Iraq, when they were in that exact place where there's a war now, when we were escorting the Harry S. Truman, the U.S. Aircraft carrier, which I was on for a long time. Then I actually went in and reported from Iran. I know that area reasonably well. There's no finer human beings than the men and women in uniform. They serve, they sacrifice. It is a hard job. And we are paying them more, we're investing in them, we're getting them better equipment. We need them, and they matter to us. So we are going to make that. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we stop buying equipment off the shelf from others. We build it for our own. And that's our strategy. You saw our national defense strategy that Minister McGuinty, that's really important. Where our advanced manufacturing in Ontario, we have the best advanced manufacturers in the world, but they're working for the auto industry. We've now pivoted, and they're pivoting to national defense, dual use. I was here in Calgary down the street at SAIT, and they are doing their unmanned drone work. The research there at SAIT is phenomenal, and that is all dual use. And the funding for dual use technology that will have civilian application, there's money there, there's support there, and we need you to create dual use technologies. And there is lots of support to do that.
Thank you, thank you. I think we're at time. That went fast. So thank you, Minister Solomon, for helping us shed some light on this massive topic. And thanks everybody for coming. If you have you just stay in your seats for 1 minute, well, we're going to take a picture. Minister will be down in the West Hall for a minute.
And can I just thank you, Jen? Like, we travel a lot. The fact that you all took this much time to see a politician means either you've got a serious mental health problem, or, no, but it does show that the appetite is here. Like, this is very encouraging. And I mean this sincerely. To see the enthusiasm, to see this kind of readiness and willingness to want to build together is beyond inspiring.
This is YYC Tech right here.
Yeah, like this is fantastic.
This is
and I just want to say what you're doing, Todd, fantastic. But Jen, like, we build very successful countries on platforms. So thank you very much.
Yes. Thanks so much.